country.
I think right up the next couple turns, there's a big open spot, and then you know, people have camped there. There's like a little fire ring. It's just like a good spot to like pop out and look around really quick.
What's up, everybody? Today I'm in northern Minnesota with my brother and my dad. This is my brother Logan, and I think he does some pretty cool stuff for a job, which is
I work for an outward bound school. Then I take kids and adults on wilderness expeditions, whether it be in the Boundary Waters or like the Superior Hiking Trail. We just go out for a big amount of time and do a big trip, and yeah, canoe, camp, backpack, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, he'll be out for like a really long time. So if you think that, you know, your public land deer hunt where you go out like 2 miles is pretty tough, think about this guy being out there for 28 days. Today we're out trying to scout some of this stuff. You haven't been up here for a deer season yet, have you?
No, just southwest of here.
But in the summer you've been in this area, but now this winter, or you know, deer season, fall, you'll be here, right? So what we're doing is coming in here, we're going to check out this piece of public. There's endless public land in northern Minnesota. I mean, basically anywhere you go is public. There's just small sections of private around towns and stuff like that, but for the most part it's endless public. And today we're targeting an area on this trail right now, but it has burns mixed in it, and then has some wetland areas as well. It feels like there's endless opportunity for where deer could be, but the reason we targeted this area is it's diverse.
It's a lot of like spruce and
Tamarack.
aspen and tamarack in the bogs, but a lot of red and white pine, birch trees mixed in there as well. But it's mostly balsam fir, so really thick, like pine, not stuff you can just crash through every single time. Sometimes it can be really open cedar woods, but for the most part it's
dense.
pretty dense pine forest, white, red, and balsam fir, spruces, things like that.
And what's different about this spot is it's just broken. There is some of that stuff, but it's broken up with these burns and some boggy areas. So we're gonna get started, start walking down this trail, and maybe walk down this deer trail real quick and see what it looks like. There goes one, right there, $2.
We walked right behind them. How did we walk?
I mean, look at it.
Where were they at?
They jumped right out of here.
They were within 50 yards of us the whole time.
Really? Were they? Like, I didn't even see them.
They were just about to the ear buck.
I just saw them once.
Here, well, I guess now we gotta go look and see where that was. That's pretty cool.
I think they were between here and that big pine right there.
You know where you pointed at? Where you're like, it'd be a good tree to get into or whatever.
Right,
I think they were right under that. What do you got? Here, show everybody what you got here. Yeah. They might have busted out, right? I think they busted out right here. I think they were under that down tree.
This is where it's rough.
Oh, this is Northwoods.
Oh, this is where they live.
So we made it in here to where these bucks jumped up from. Logan and I are standing by some tracks right here where they were just milling around in here. This is the type of forest that we were talking about a second ago as far as that denser stuff. You can see in here, like you can't see more than like 10 yards at most. But they were bedded or browsing somewhere right on the edge of this area and the burn area. You can see on a map here that there's a really hard transition line. It is big woods and it can be monotonous, but if you break it down into different habitat types and different levels of sizes of trees, that's where you're gonna find the deer. I mean, this is exactly the same thing as you would find somewhere else, just different habitat. And the other cool thing is they're bedded somewhere right in here. They're bedded facing the trail, just like you know, we find in other areas. The other thing that Logan and I, Dad and I have been talking about is coming in here and tracking. They get snow starting in, when did you say?
Like
snow?
October. It's full on. It just depends on the year. I mean, some years it's earlier than other times, but like around that time.
So if had you know, you been in here and there was snow, you were hunting and you had a gun especially, you could just hunt until you found tracks and then, you know, follow them to an edge. As you start getting closer to an edge like this and the tracks begin to mill around, then you know you're getting close to that bedded deer. And I think that's something that we've definitely been brainstorming with a little bit for a future idea of hunting in this area. It seems pretty fun. Muzzleloader season's long here, right?
Yeah, that's doable during muzzleloader season. Certainly, I mean, I've followed them down trails, but never really to that extent where I was just out there specifically to follow tracks. It's more like I'm walking out here, I was gonna go sit on this open spot, but now I see these tracks, I'm gonna follow it this way instead. You know, it was never.
You're just following the hot sign.
Sure.
Well, this stuff, I mean, it's definitely a little tough to get through, but they're in here. I mean, the skeeters are just thick. Okay, that's for sure a deer bed. Is there any hair in it? I don't know that it's a fresh bed, but there's definitely deer. There's hair right there. I mean, just think about, a bed just on the inside of this. I mean, from right here, you can see out into that little patch of open where, you know, exactly where we walked. All right, well, we just came up here. This is pretty ridiculous. Right down there is that trail that we came in on, and we jumped the bucks in the transition of this burn and the taller pines. Logan was like, man, I've always wanted to walk up on top of this hill. Dad walks over here. Show him what you got. That is ridiculous, because that's a heavy antler, man.
When I first saw it, all you saw was that. It looked huge. I'm looking for the other side here.
Yeah, we probably should. He's got advantage up here just as well as anywhere, really. Looking at the access. You got it?
Oh, deer track. Look at that. That's fresh.
Yeah. You found the dang shed. Let me see that thing. That's a nice buck too.
Yeah, you don't see that many bucks. So even that is like pretty cool.
Look for diversity. I feel like I can't stress that enough when you're looking at deer. And Logan was, you know, talking about these burn areas, and that really sparked the interest for us, because you know you're going to get broken habitat within just a monotonous area. You know, early in the season when there's no snow, this type of stuff is going to be good to target, but as the hunting pressure increases, more traffic on that trail with snowmobiles, hikers, cross-country skiers, whatever it may be, it may push these deer further back, and in that direction there's more wet habitat, and that's where we're headed next. That may be where they go, especially when it freezes up and they can walk on that wet area a little bit easier. So stupid. I mean, really, that is super funny to me. Like, every time I go out scouting, especially in the summer, it's like, man, it would be awesome for the video if like we could find a shed.
Now, you got enough good enough look at those two bucks, so that's definitely not them.
It very well could have been them.
Yeah.
I got a very quick glimpse. I didn't film them very much. I just, in the video, you can just see them bound over the hill, but like, surely it could be the same deer.
Yeah.
Let's keep just pushing back in here, I think. Dude, you're gonna have an awesome time deer hunting up here. I'm like getting jealous. Look at all these rubs, Dad.
Yeah, the other range that had to be there. Like he had to be there in February or March when he lost his antlers. So there's something there he wants to eat late too.
Yeah.
Otherwise he wouldn't have been here.
Right.
Weird.
I'm sure a lot of that like woody stem just are kind of hardier and give them something. I mean, they really struggle for food in the winter. I mean, they're digging every day. Most of their energy is...
These are going to still be sticking up.
Oh, for sure. Well, I mean, if you really get down to the nitty gritty and you're looking at all these little tops, that top is completely browsed down.
Keep going.
What about this, guys? I know it's probably not gonna be the most comfortable, but that little patch in there looks like a place where deer could bed. So we just walked up here into this little island. We got just a little island of, what's this pine, Logan?
Balsam fir.
Balsam fir. This little patch here. And as we were walking in, came across this bed. It's a little bit harder to see right there than some of the other beds that we find, but there's droppings right in the bed. And then there's a little bit of a trail that goes through here, and there's 2 rubs. One rub right here on this tree. As you follow the trail out, there's another rub on that tree. Any little habitat break, we're finding some pretty good sign in. And as far as hunting this goes, I mean, for early season, if you got up on a tree saddle, that's how I would approach it at least. I'd probably just try to get elevated a little bit, maybe 10 feet or so to where you could see over this stuff. And as soon as you see one moving, you either go after him the next day or you just go after him right then, just jump down out of the tree. But I mean, there's definitely bedding habitat in this area. Pretty sweet. Any more sheds?
No.
Just like bog, that it's just really thickly woven plant material and a lot of water underneath. This is like a pretty solid spot, but sometimes you'll go up to your like waist or your neck even, and just like garbage water that's like just really weird. It's really interesting stuff. I mean, it's essentially if an animal dies out here because of the pH level and this water, it'll just be a mummy. Which is kind of a strange thing to think about. There's probably like mummified beaver and deer and all sorts of weird things out in this stuff all the time.
Show everybody your shoes real quick, like what you got to avoid being super soaked.
Just like these shoes just have holes in the front. There's 3 holes in the back, 3 in the front, I should say, 3 in the back, and then there's a couple on the sides, and they just basically let water in, let water out, and you just have wet feet, but at least they're not like holding water. Like if you wear waterproof boots, they just become buckets, and that's not good for your feet. You get trench foot if you do it for a long enough day. I mean, if you're out for, I think it's like 12 hours, 8 to 12 hours, you can start to get some weird funguses growing on your feet if they stay wet. But if you have something to switch into, it's great.
Mine are pretty wet, so I planned on them getting wet today.
This stuff's really cool. This leather leaf.
What's this called though?
Leather leaf. Yep. And then I just imagine they just like turn brown. They don't really shed those leaves. They just get brown, and all this gets covered in snow, obviously, and the deer have to dig for anything they're going to eat. But I imagine stuff like that would be in high demand because it doesn't really shed its leaves. There's probably something in those leaves, so.
All right, we're up here on the top. As you can tell, there's a bunch of aspen trees up here. There's a bunch of rubs on the aspen trees, and we're at higher elevation, and basically between us in that burn area where we jumped the deer and found the shed, there's the bog. And there's a lot of trails coming from this point where it raises in elevation towards the burn area. So we think early in the season the deer are going to be closer to the burn, but then as the pressure starts, gun hunters, rifle hunters start coming back in here, they're just going to keep pushing deeper. The cool thing is every time we hit a break in elevation or habitat type, we're finding the sign. So basically the conclusion that we've come to is when either we all come back here and hunt or Logan just himself comes back here to hunt, he's basically going to start close up to that access and then work his way back, hunting these different transition lines as he goes. Pretty cool. We're going to get out of here though. We're going to get back with the family, and we've got bugs all over us. Headed back out through the bog. All right, we're back at the truck and we're gonna go hang out with the family, but pretty good day of walking. Found a pretty cool shed, so.
Yeah, pretty good area.
Yeah, I think you got some options for hunting.
Yeah.
Hopefully you learned something. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.